Nobody saw this coming. Brittney Griner figured her harsh words about Caitlin Clark would just quietly disappear. She was wrong. Indiana Governor Mike Braun just stepped in and dropped a truth bomb that's got the entire WNBA on its heels. Here's the kicker. While the league was busy chasing down fake claims against Fever fans, real footage of Griner making threats got completely brushed aside. That's raising a big question. Is there real bias against Clark and her fans in how these investigations get handled? Now that a powerful voice has called out the double standard, the league can't hide anymore. The pressure is on, and a system built to protect certain players is starting to crack. Griner thought this would blow over quietly. Braun made sure it didn't, and now the backlash is spreading fast. This story has all the twists of a real thriller. Let's break down exactly what went down. If you're enjoying this, smash that like button and subscribe. Over 85% of you watching haven't hit subscribe yet. It costs nothing, takes 2 seconds, and helps us out big time. Did you do it? Awesome. Thank you. Now, let's dive back into the story. The video.
She accused the Indiana Fever fan base of being racist. They investigated it. They said those accusations were false. The least that she could do is apologize to our great state and the fans that show up at these games and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Obviously, she's not going to do that. But also, Dan, why isn't the Indiana Fever apologizing to their own fan base for putting them through that, for going through those types of accusations? I mean, those are awful accusations. They weren't true. The fans weren't shouting racial slurs toward Angel Reese or opposing players. I mean, where is Caitlin Clark? Where is the Indiana Fever? Where is the WNBA saying that investigation there shouldn't have been an investigation? The allegations were false. Where's the apology? It hasn't happened. It's disappointing. As someone who is, my daughters are fans of the team. They've gone to games to see Caitlin Clark. It's so demeaning.
Right after the Chicago Sky got blown out by 30 points, league officials jumped straight into damage control, chasing rumors that Fever fans hurled slurs at Angel Reese. Guess what? Those claims turned out to be completely made up. Even the WNBA had to admit it. Zero evidence, zero proof, nothing. But here's where things get wild. While that fake story was getting all the attention, millions of fans had already watched real footage of Brittney Griner calling Caitlin Clark trash and using a slur to do it on camera for everyone to see. And what did the league do about that? Nothing. They looked the other way, choosing instead to chase a story that never even happened. Fair is fair. And right now, it doesn't look fair at all.
Have the right to come here, sit in these seats and feel safe and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are. Definitely will be speaking up against those that
Watching this kind of double standard play out is honestly hard to stomach. The league will chase down rumors that don't even exist, but the second real footage shows one of their star players behaving badly. Suddenly, they can't see it, can't hear it, don't want to know about it. Funny how they only spot bias when it fits the story they want to tell. But Governor Braun wasn't buying it. He called out the league calmly, politely but firmly. His message was simple. If you're serious about fairness, then look into what happened with Angel Reese on the court, too. Settle it once and for all. This wasn't just a suggestion. It was a warning, and it landed loud and clear. People are watching, and they're noticing exactly how one-sided this has become.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are the best gift that the WNBA has ever had. I mean, and the fans that show up and pack that place, I mean, sell out crowds every time Caitlin Clark plays. It's so great for Indiana, but it's good for the WNBA. But how dare you accuse our fans, the Hoosiers that show up at these games being racist when they're not? I mean, that was a opposing player who hates Caitlin Clark. Frankly, it's a great rivalry for the teams and for the sport, but don't accuse our fans of being racist. I mean, that's the kind of garbage that gets thrown around all the time. It wasn't true. The investigation proved it. And there was no outcome of it. There was no apology. Apologize to the fans. I mean, that's a simple thing to do. And I wish the team would have been more emphatic about that. Stand up, stick up for your fan base. I mean, that's who's keeping you alive. So Maybe they'll still do that. I don't know. I mean, I tweeted that Angel Reese should apologize, and my tweet got a lot of...
Something big just happened, and the WNBA cannot hide from it anymore. Governor Braun made his stance crystal clear. He will not tolerate racism or harassment of any kind, and he believes hateful or outrageous comments must be dealt with. No exceptions. But here's the problem. It looks like the WNBA only springs into action when it's convenient for protecting their Golden Girls while everyone else gets tossed aside. Let's talk about that Brittney Griner clip that's been spreading everywhere. In the video, Griner says something that millions of fans immediately took as a racial slur, aimed straight at Caitlin Clark. Some of Griner's biggest defenders are pushing back, saying she was simply venting about a bad referee call, nothing more. But here's the catch. If those words were really meant for the ref, why hasn't Griner said a single word to clear it up? And why has the league stayed completely silent instead of putting out any kind of statement? That silence says a lot. It tells you everything about how the WNBA really operates. Compare that to what happened with Angel Reese. When rumors spread, claiming fans hurled insults at her. Rumors that turned out to be completely false. The league jumped into full investigation mode within hours, but real footage of one of their own stars saying something offensive on camera. Suddenly, nobody has time to look into it. That right there is the double standard laid bare. Some players are untouchable, protected no matter what. Others get torn apart for the smallest thing, a facial expression, a bit of trash talk, anything at all. Caitlin Clark gets hit with criticism for practically breathing wrong on the court. Meanwhile, Griner is caught on camera saying something serious, and the league acts like it never happened. And the timing almost too perfect. This all blew up right after a game where Clark didn't even play. Yet, the Fever still crushed the Chicago Sky. That franchise needed a distraction, and fast after getting embarrassed on their home floor. So, instead of owning the loss, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, Angel Reese was painted as the victim, not the player who got dominated. And just like that, claims of hostile Fever fans appeared out of nowhere. Governor Braun isn't falling for it. He understands exactly what Caitlin Clark means to Indiana. She's brought a wave of energy back into basketball at every level. Colleges, high schools, you name it. Arenas are packed the way they haven't been in years. The same kind of buzz you'd expect from the Pacers. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about protecting an athlete who has brought Indiana serious national attention and real economic impact. When the governor says he wants the hostility toward Clark to stop and wants fair treatment across the board, that tells you exactly how deep this issue runs. The WNBA has built an environment where standing up for Clark or her fans gets you attacked, but tearing her down, that gets applauded. Senator Jim Banks already called on the league to apologize to Fever fans over that botched investigation. Now, Governor Braun is standing right behind him, demanding that every accusation, these aren't just politicians looking for headlines. These are Indiana leaders who understand exactly how much is riding on this culturally and financially. When government officials get involved in something like this, that should be a giant red flag for the league. Once your bias is so obvious that state leaders feel forced to step in, you've crossed a line you can't walk back. This isn't about politics. This is about basic fairness. And by the WNBA's own rule book, they're failing it. You have to wonder how Griner is processing all of this. She's used to the league shielding her from consequences. Given her status and history, she probably assumed she was above real scrutiny, but now she's facing pressure from people outside the WNBA bubble. People who don't care about internal politics or who's protected and who isn't. It's almost laughable how differently these situations get handled. When it comes to Clark, the media debates whether a hard foul against her was even worth flagging, but nasty comments made about her fans completely ignored. Now that Governor Braun is pushing for a real investigation, things are about to get uncomfortable for the league. Apply the same standard to everyone, and the truth comes out fast. The system the WNBA has built clearly favors certain players while putting a target on others. And now that setup is facing real outside pressure. Honestly, the exact wording of what Griner said almost isn't the point anymore. The real story here is the pattern of bias this has exposed. Fake claims about fans get instant investigations, while real footage involving a star player gets buried. Governor Braun stepping into this also highlights something the league has been trying to avoid facing. They can't replace what Caitlin Clark brings. She's driving attention, revenue, and credibility that no other player has matched. When politicians are willing to publicly call out league bias to defend her, that tells you her influence reaches far beyond the court. For Griner, the timing could not be worse. She's already dealt with plenty of controversy. And now she may be facing actual consequences for the first time. For someone who's always had a safety net, watching that protection disappear has to be unsettling. And this time she doesn't have her usual defense. This isn't about her past or her personal struggles. This is about comments directed at another player caught clearly on camera. With proof like that out in the open, there's no room to play the victim. That leaves the WNBA stuck. They've basically got two options: investigate Griner and admit their past decisions were biased, or ignore it and take the political heat. Either way, they come out looking bad. And honestly, that's exactly what they've earned by letting this mess build for so long. Governor Braun summed up the absurdity of it all pretty simply. The league should be celebrating what Caitlin Clark has done for it, not trying to undermine her. She's brought in more attention and more revenue than any player in league history. Yet, somehow certain players and league officials seem determined to downplay that. This has stopped being just a basketball story. It's now a real political and economic issue. And once senators and governors start weighing in, things have reached a boiling point. The WNBA can't just wait this one out like they usually do. This whole situation rips the curtain back on the league's so-called commitment to fairness and justice. They talk about equality constantly, but their actions tell a different story, one where the rules only apply when it benefits their favorite players. Real fairness means every accusation gets the same level of investigation. No exceptions, no favorites. Governor Braun's push could end up exposing years of favoritism buried inside the league. And once people start pulling on that thread, there's no telling how deep the bias goes. The league has been playing favorites for so long, they might not even realize how far off track they've drifted. Griner has never really faced consequences before, so this moment is probably hitting her hard. The league has shielded her through every controversy up to this point. She likely never imagined she'd actually be investigated. But with a sitting governor involved, the stakes just changed completely. This also sends a message to other elected officials. Voters care about what's happening in this league. Caitlin Clark's fan base is massive and they vote. When leaders speak up for her, other politicians take notice. At its core, this entire controversy is exposing a deeper crisis inside the WNBA. A crisis of trust and integrity. When your system is so unbalanced that state officials feel they have no choice but to step in, you've already lost your credibility. The league built this mess themselves and now they're paying for it. Watching their carefully built image start to crack in real time might be the most interesting part of this whole story. And trying so hard to elevate other players while downplaying Clark's impact. The league built something fragile. A system that now looks like it's protecting a select few at everyone else's expense. And the fallout isn't just about basketball. Governor Braun made it clear Indiana is basketball country, and Clark belongs right where she is. Don't be shocked when more state leaders step up to defend a player bringing in record-breaking attention and revenue. The cracks are showing, and for the first time it actually looks like real accountability could be coming for Griner. Not internet outrage. Not another news cycle that fades in a week. Actual formal scrutiny from people with the power to make the league answer for its choices. Think about what that means. For years, players like Griner operated knowing the league had their back no matter what. Say something controversial, it gets buried. Do something, question. Once a sitting governor puts his name behind a call for fairness, it's no longer something the league can quietly wait out. Other officials are watching, other fans are watching, and the pressure isn't going away on its own. So, here's where things stand. The league now has to make a choice it's been avoiding for a long time. Treat every player the same way, or keep proving that some athletes matter more than others. There's no middle ground left. Whatever they decide next, people are going to remember it. So, here's the real question. Once this investigation actually gets underway, what do you think they're going to find? Will the league finally hold Griner accountable, Or will they find another way to look the other way like they always have? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know where you stand on this. And if this story kept you hooked from start to finish, do us a favor, hit that like button and subscribe because this situation is far from over. There's a lot more of this drama still unfolding, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.